An update on former AEW World Champion MJF after 3 months away from All Elite Wrestling. However, he has been removed from AEW's roster page on their website as well as AEWshop.com. Plenty of details on that. Plus, several big-name WWE legends reportedly do have plans for WrestleMania 40. We'll let you know what they could be and who they are. An update on the conversations that Tony Khan did or rather didn't have with Jack Perry following the backstage incident involving CM Punk at AEW All In last year. WWE announces the return of the Slammy Awards during WrestleMania week. Is there a double standard when it comes to The Rock's language that he uses on television? Some people in WWE think that's the case. We've got details as to why Bray Wyatt has not been included in this year's WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024, plus an update on the return timetable of Kenny Omega. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about MJF, and plenty of people are wondering what's going on with the former AEW World Champion. Now, having been off our screen since AEW World's End on December 30, 2023, there's a new update on the injured MJF. Of course, MJF dropped the AEW World Championship to Samoa Joe at World's End, with it being reported that he had a legitimate shoulder injury as well as some other injuries he had picked up during his various title defenses. Now, it would also be reported that aside from the shoulder injury, MJF was also handling a hip injury that he sustained against Switchblade Jay White at Full Gear. The shoulder injury was described as the most serious, however, with consideration being given as to whether or not he was going to have surgery. In the current issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has provided an update on MJF's AEW status, writing the following quote: "Regarding MJF, he is out of action as his shoulder injury was significant. Aside from that, he is literally being as secretive as possible about his situation." Now, what did get people talking, however, though, was seeing that MJF had been removed from not only the AEW roster page, but also his merchandise had been pulled from AEWshop.com. You can see it on the screen right there. If you go to shopaew.com, you get this when it comes to MJF. In addition of that, you also get this. He's not on the AEW roster page anymore. Now, MJF has previously stated that he plans to start a bidding war between AEW and WWE this year in 2024, with his contract was previously reportedly said to be up on January 1st. Of course, that date has long gone, and he's still not on WWE television. It had also been reported that actually it was all a storyline and certainly something he was trying to do to get people talking about him. So what do you think? Do you think this is an elaborate work by AEW, or do you think there's something more to it? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, WrestleMania is on the horizon. There's some big plans for some big WWE icons. The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and John Cena are all expected to be involved at WWE WrestleMania 40 on April 6 and 7. Now, as it stands, it's reported that either there's no creative locked in or that it's a well-guarded secret. Now, Dave Meltzer reported in the current issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that, quote, "Nothing is official, but the belief right now is that Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and John Cena will have something at WrestleMania in some form." At press time, there is no creative locked in for Cena and Austin at this moment, or if there is, it's a well-guarded secret. A lot depends on how much they're willing to do and money. Cena is free, but depending on what acting stuff he has and how quick after he's filming would determine how much he can or can't do for insurance reasons. Austin and Undertaker would be based on willingness that they have. Now, as previously reported, The Undertaker's One Dead Man show will be taking place on Thursday, April 4 at the Fillmore in Philadelphia. Of course, WrestleMania 40 takes place on April 6 and 7 at Lincoln Financial Field, also in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. John Cena will be filming Peacemaker Season 2 later this year, leaving him free for a WrestleMania 40 appearance, schedule permitting. During a recent interview on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Cena teased the possibility of an appearance at WrestleMania 40. So, what do you think we could see involving all three men or individually at WrestleMania? Let me know your thoughts about it. Could we see something similar to WrestleMania 30 when we had interactions with The Rock, Steve Austin, and Hulk Hogan? Could we see something like we saw at WrestleMania 32? It was Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and Mick Foley brawling with the League of Nations. Let me know your thoughts and reaction, as always, in the comments section below. Now, let's talk about Jack Perry and the latest regarding his future, because there was quite a few stories regarding his status in AEW right now, and that Tony Khan was still really mad at him for what transpired at All In, which led to the firing of CM Punk from AEW. Now, Jack Perry's actions at the August 2023 AEW All In set off a chain of events that would eventually see CM Punk return to WWE. At AEW All In London, Perry commented, "Real glass, cry me a river," into the camera after slamming Hook onto a car windshield. This came sometime after reports had emerged from backstage stating that CM Punk had advised Jack Perry not to use real glass for a separate TV segment at a Collision taping. That comment reportedly led to an incident between the two when Perry got backstage, and ultimately Punk was soon fired and Perry was suspended. Punk, of course, would eventually make his way back to WWE, with Perry turning up in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but he is still actively under contract with AEW. Now, with Perry still not featuring on AEW programming, Tony Khan recently commented on the former Jungle Boy's work in New Japan, saying it's been great tracking Jack's progress. Now, Dave Meltzer has provided alleged further details on just how much interaction there has been between Perry and Khan. This, of course, comes after the reports that Meltzer did state when he said that Tony Khan was really mad at Jack Perry's involvement in the firing of Punk. Now, writing the current issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer stated the following quotes: "The way we've heard it was that he was sent home after Wembley and never heard back from Tony Khan. He apologized, kept texting him about he never meant to cause any trouble and was sorry. He did hear from the company through lawyers. Then they talked and he apologized to Khan, but he still hasn't been brought back. What they're doing now in Japan is storyline to lead to an eventual return." So, do you think that Jack Perry will eventually return to AEW, and what's your reaction to possibly him not hearing from Tony Khan for months? Is that a right thing because of the legal situation and ramifications? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Now, the Slammies are coming back. Yes, the Slammies are coming back, and it's happening way sooner than many people may have expected, because WWE actually announced today that the Classic Awards ceremony will take place again this year, along with the return of a fan voting system to determine the winners. This year's awards ceremony will take place on Sunday, April 7, and will be available to watch on WWE's official YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, and TikTok accounts. Fans in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for WWE WrestleMania 40 can attend the Slammies live as part of the WWE World Interactive Experience. The ceremony will be hosted by the New Day's Big E, as well as Kathy Kelly, and will include appearances from other members of WWE's roster. Voting is scheduled to open up to fans soon and will be available through Wednesday, March 27. WWE actually last held the Slammies in December 2020, with Superstar of the Year going to Drew McIntyre, while Match of the Year went to the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. The origin, of course, of the Slammies dates back to 1986, with the company holding the annual ceremony for periodic stretches since then. Over the years, winners have included the likes of the Junkyard Dog, Diesel, Beth Phoenix, John Cena, CM Punk, Owen Hart, and many more. In addition to the Slammies, WWE World is set to feature a WWE 2K24 tournament, roundtable discussions between WWE performers, live podcast recordings, and much more. So, the Slammies, they are indeed back. Now, a big talking point over the last week has been The Rock and his language on television, and I guess some of the frustration from other WWE superstars that they're not allowed to really say the same things that the Great One is able to say on TV and on social media. Now, The Rock has been using adult language during his recent promos on WWE television, a luxury that doesn't seem to be afforded to the rest of the roster. In the current issue of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has reflected on this policy, stating, quote, "As one person noted, he does what he wants, and because he's on the board of directors, nobody is going to say anything to him. He also has an entire team of representatives that he surrounds himself with, so any issues they handle while he stays out of the mess with the people he directly deals with. But one person noted that there was a feeling that the era of Vince McMahon's double standards for his handpicked stars and for everyone else was over, and then Johnson shows up and it's exactly the same." Recently, it was reported that The Rock's use of profane language had rubbed some people the wrong way in WWE. The Rock also claimed that networks and standards and practices have had issues with his language. It was recently reported that Fox has sent copies of The Rock's scripts in advance so that they can censor words during SmackDown broadcasts. Now, much of The Rock's adult language has been aimed at the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, who fired back during his promo on the March 18 episode of Raw with some pretty salty language of his own. So, do Do you think that there is a double standard, and do you think that The Rock should play fair, considering he is on the board of directors? Let me know your reaction to that one too. Now, as we get closer to WrestleMania, it looks like Bray Wyatt is not going to be included in this year's Hall of Fame class of 2024. Now, following Bray Wyatt's passing in August of last year, many fans called for the former WWE champion to enter the Hall of Fame as part of the class of 2024. While previous reports confirm that WWE doesn't have plans to induct Wyatt ahead of WrestleMania 40, the company has announced that a new documentary on the life of Wyndham Rotunda will air on Peacock on April 1st. Per Dave Meltzer in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the fact that WWE was making a big documentary for Wyatt influenced the company's decision to induct him into the Hall of Fame at a later date. Meltzer wrote the following. He said, quote, "I was told this had something to do with the decision not to induct Wyatt into the Hall of Fame this year. That this year they were doing the big documentary for him and they would induct him later." Now, Bray Wyatt's father, Mike Rotunda, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, alongside Barry Windham, of course, that being Bray Wyatt's uncle, as the US Express. And finally, we have a bit of an update when it comes to Kenny Omega. We spoke about this morning as Tony Khan offered some comments about the return of the cleaner to AEW. Now, recent updates on Kenny Omega's health reveal that his return to AEW remains uncertain following his diagnosis of diverticulitis. Originally slated to compete at AEW World's End, Omega's plans were derailed due to his battle with a digestive tract infection. Despite sharing insights about his condition during a Twitch stream, Omega remains in a state of uncertainty about his recovery timeline, raising questions about his potential comeback to the ring. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer provided somber insights into Omega's health status, indicating the lack of substantial progress in his recovery. He said, quote, "The update on Kenny Omega is basically no real update. A decision still hasn't been made if he will undergo surgery for his diverticulitis. If he has that surgery, it will be a couple of months after the surgery before he'd be able to return." Meltzer's report highlighted the absence of a definitive decision regarding whether Omega will undergo surgery for his diverticulitis. Notably, the potential surgical intervention could further delay his return, as Meltzer conveyed that if the surgery does indeed take place, it would be several months before Omega could even contemplate a comeback to the ring. The lingering uncertainty surrounding Omega's health and the looming prospect of surgery underscores the challenging road ahead for the talented pro wrestler. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.